Welcome back to my channel. My name is Masha and this is the Wonder Woman Within. Today we will be talking about bad habits and how those are formed throughout our lives. We're going to discuss a little bit about IFS, internal family systems, and parts work. That is what I specialize in. And if you're interested, please keep watching. Alright, so today we're going to talk about bad habits, and bad or good, that honestly is very objective to a lot of different people. So what's bad to you might be really good to another person. For example, working, long hours, somebody might think that's bad, but for you that's a form of escapism, or you are actually enjoy hard work. If you are new to this channel, I am an emotional wellness practitioner and I work with my clients using mostly parts work or internal family systems. If you've never heard about it, I can share a couple links below, so you're more than welcome to check the description box of this video. But basically it's allowing yourself to explore different parts of you as a witness without attaching, or as we say, blending with those parts. So you're looking at different versions of you, maybe that version that you don't like very much, the workaholic version, the person that maybe is not telling the truth all the time, a person that binges on Netflix or drinks a lot of alcohol on the weekend. So instead of judging that person, shaming them, or showing any type of criticism, you actually are curious about those parts of you, because we all have them, right? We're not all saints, we're human beings. We don't have just the good, happy parts, we have the other parts too. And there's a book called No Bad Parts, actually, by Rick Schwartz, the creator of the IFS therapy. He's a clinical psychologist, and if you're interested, you can read more about him. But that's a really good introduction book to parts work, so you can actually understand yourself better versus judging. And going back to habits, why do bad habits form? A lot of times it's because of what we were taught when we were little. Waking up, sleeping in on the weekends, for example, or eating late at night, or buying a bunch of sweets and candy and eating it, as a escapism, or watching your mom drink alcohol or work herself to the bone. That's also whatever we see, and when we're little, we tend to model after it to almost fit in, so we feel safe. When we're little, we are feeling very safe when we model after our parents. So a lot of those habits do get created because we don't have any idea of our own, what is right, what is wrong, so we just copy what's around us. But so the good news, guys, is as an adult, you can always retrain yourself. You can teach yourself new ways of doing things, and that's going to take time. But instead of just forcing it and just going on autopilot and pushing through, instead of just quitting cold turkey, which most people don't do because it is the hardest thing to do, or if, let's say, you are eating a bunch of carbs, late at night, instead of just quitting it altogether, I really invite you to start exploring those parts of you that are convincing you to go to the store or the drive-through or the convenience store to buy that pack of cigarettes. Really start noticing the dialogue that is happening within your mind, within your head, because that is why it's called internal family systems, because it is a family in our head. And no, you're not crazy. It's a human thing to have different parts in all of us. You're not bipolar, you're not crazy or cuckoo. That's just a normal thing. We have always opposing sides. Some people call it the devil on the shoulder and the angel, right? So that's completely normal, first of all. And the more we get to know them, the more we learn how to work with them versus against them. If you are enjoying this video and my content, I invite you to hit subscribe down below. That's going to really help. Share this message with people who you think are struggling with addiction, with bad habits, and are looking for a different approach. And thank you so much. So what does parts work consist of? It's basically learning more about different parts that are in your head. A lot of our bad habits typically form from protectors. I will put a little graphic on the screen now to visually explain this better to you. So we do have the managers, we have the firefighters, we have the exiles, and we have the self, the God within us, the true self that's really the divine, who we are truly inside, right? That's the center. The managers and the firefighters, they're always trying to protect us. When we were little, they were protecting us from being exiled from the family or from the friend group. So that's why we created all these different habits, like picking up a cigarette or, trying a drug or going partying or whatever your peer group was trying to convince you to do, right? That is our form of survival. So the managers and firefighters, their job is to protect us. They think their job is to protect us, but as an adult, we actually don't really need their protection, but they are still hard at work doing that job. So what we do during therapy and internal family systems, we build a relationship slowly with those managers and firefighters, befriend them, get to know them, and slowly let them know, update them that we're not that 6-year-old Masha anymore. We are closer to 40 and we can definitely handle this job. We appreciate, we validate their work that they've been doing for many, many years of protecting us, but we no longer need them. And that made cause to those parts, it is kind of a shock because they might not even know who you are, how old you are. So to them, learning about you, how, your current self and that you're capable of doing this on your own is complete shock. So that takes time, and protectors are very slow in opening up and learning that there is a different way of doing things, and they don't need to numb you out. They don't need to sabotage you anymore to make sure you are safe, right? So the first step is getting to know these parts, either by reading a book like No Bad Parts, like I mentioned, Introduction to Internal Family Systems. You can also start journaling, allowing those parts to come through, or working with a practitioner or a counselor like myself, but there's also a directory on the IFS Institute, which I'll also put the link down below. So basically, that is the best way to start on getting to know yourself, on how those parts created those bad habits, how they're serving you now, and just really getting down deep to the reasons of why you're doing what you're doing. So for example, if you are grabbing for that bowl of cereal late at night, or cookies, ice cream, whatever else, it's important to ask, which part of you needs that, and what void is it filling by eating that ice cream and the cookies. And during the therapy session, we are usually in like a hypnosis stage. So you are going to explore reasons of what you're doing without even being consciously present. The part is speaking for you. And there's different ways of doing the exploration with the parts, depends on who you work with, but I like to communicate with the parts directly. So for example, Debbie has a part that convinces her every night to drive through Burger King and grab a burger, right? So I will talk to that part and ask, what is your job for Debbie? How long you've been doing this job, and what do you hope to achieve by helping Debbie with that? And eventually we'll get to a point where we will allow the part to let go of that job and focus on something else that is productive. So for example, if a part that is being super protective, like a manager part that's putting you in a workaholic, working 10 hours a day, maybe it's option is to let go of that job and focus more on showing up to the gym every morning, or showing up on time to meet with friends. Different type of a task that the part feels excited about. And I try to not have any agenda with my clients during our sessions, because the parts can feel it and sense it, and they feel some pressure if you're asking them to let go of a job. And that is not what we're trying to do. We're trying to get to know them, befriend them, get curious, but from a place of compassion, place of curiosity, place of not reacting to what they're saying, just really being that loving, kind parent called the self, witnessing the responses. It is the most fascinating thing. That is why I love what I do, and everybody's system is very different. So the more you get curious about those parts of you, the more you get to know the core reason of why you're doing those habits that are not serving you, the sooner you can replace them with the ones that are better for you. Now, the bonus tip I have is I would read Atomic Habits. That's a great book that helps you develop habit stacking. So slowly, things that you are already doing every day in autopilot, like brushing your teeth and putting on makeup, you can add on other things you're trying to make room for in your life. For example, drinking more water, taking the supplements, taking a 10-minute walk in the morning. Eventually those things will be added on, but one at a time. So I would start slowly with one habit that's super important for you for that month. Add it on to things you're already doing. Doesn't have to be in the morning, could be late at night, whatever you have your schedule. So those are my tips for you for today. If you have more questions about internal family systems, if you'd like me to talk more about parts work, please reach out, comment below, tell me what your thoughts are. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you are going to get curious about your habits, your parts, and share more with me in the comments below. I look forward to speaking to you every single Wednesday. New video comes out and we talk about health, emotional wellness, some travel, relationships, all kinds of stuff. So I hope to see you next week.